This video was made possible by CuriosityStream. Get the CuriosityStream Nebula Bundle deal, currently on sale for a crazy $1 a month at curiositystream.com/HAI. The dictionary is full of nonsensical words. Words like bumfussle, bumbershot, cattywampus, collywobbles, dord, snickersnee, gardyloo, taradiddle, snollygoster, widdershins, gubbins, and look at this one, bricks. I mean, seriously, what could that mean? Believe it or not though, they're all real words. Well, all but one. Can you guess which is a fake? Is it snollygoster? Nope, a snollygoster is a, quote, shrewd, unprincipled person from the German Schnellgeister, meaning quick spirits. Bumbershoot? Nope, a bumbershoot is a weird nickname for umbrella. Is it bricks? Wrong again, that's a real word meaning something we refuse to make a YouTube video on. The imposter, it turns out, is dord. Don't feel bad if you were fooled though, so were the editors of 1934's Webster's New International Dictionary 2nd edition. You see, when the smart brain word people were typing up what all the different squiggles meant, in between dorsopsis, which is a type of small kangaroo, and dor, which means having a gold coating, they included a listing for dord, defined simply as density. But the people at Webster's had a problem. They were all nerds, but also dord was not a word. So what happened? Well, Webster's first edition, or Word War I, used to include abbreviations as their own words. For example, km for kilometer would be its own entry between kin and Neil, but in 1931, for the second edition, World War II, the Willy wordsmiths decided to move abbreviations to their own section in the back of the book. One fine 1931 day, Webster's chemistry editor sat in a black and white room, because color hadn't been invented yet, and wrote up a 3x5 card that read D or D cont/density, meaning to communicate that either uppercase D or lowercase d were both abbreviations for density in chemistry. The cont was short for continuous, to indicate there would be other things D was short for, like the Roman numeral 500. But someone mistook D or D for a word, dord, added a pronunciation, slapped it in the dictionary defined as density, and then went home to do whatever people did before we invented TikTok. And dord remained there until 1939, when an editor realized it had no etymology and wrote a card to correct the mistake. A card that was ignored until 1947, when another editor noticed the mistake, wrote a new card, and finally, the dastardly dord was done. Dord, though, is not unique. In fact, every dictionary has at least one mistake. It's in the M section, after missed. But there are often others. Older dictionaries, especially, were full of errors, as they often got their new words just by reading other stuff. If they saw a strange new word pop up in a widely published poem or book, they'd sort out a definition, slap it in, and collect those sweet dictionary dollars without a second thought. But sometimes, typos in published works would lead to dictionarians mistaking errors for new words. Words like kime, defined by many 19th century dictionaries as a Hindu torture device, but which was actually just a typo of knife in the Attenborough Review. The same thing happened with Morse, a misspelling of nurse in an edition of Sir Walter Scott's The Monastery. Plus, several years ago, when the people over at Wendover Productions named their channel, they accidentally hit W instead of B, and just look at what that led to. In all these cases though, the typos didn't end up creating real words. The error was noticed, the word removed, and most people were too busy doing what people always do. Fighting wars, dying of preventable disease, inventing new ways to fry stuff, to have noticed in the first place. The honor of the only known, accepted word to be created solely by typo goes to, drumroll please, expedite, which means to hasten. It's a real word listed in the dictionary and used in scientific journals and Senate reports and this tweet by @blawman24. But if you're thinking, that sure looks a lot like the word expedite, and it also has the exact same definition, congratulations, your brain is one sentence ahead of us. You see, back in 1605, an English politician named Sir Edwin Sandys wrote expedite instead of expedite in an essay, and the 1623 Oxford English Dictionary mistook that typo for a new word. This time though, by the time the etymological mistake was realized, expedite had become so commonly used that it was considered a legitimate word. You see, the rules of language are only useful insofar as they help people communicate, which means that if enough people start saying a word wrong, it turns out they aren't saying it wrong anymore, they've actually just created a new word. Much like a middle-aged white man or the United States of America, a misspelled word can fail its way into success. And this happens all the time, usually not because of errors by dictionaries, but errors by people. Take, for example, the word pea. One pea was once a peas, derived from Middle English. If you had more than one slimy green mush ball, you'd have peases. But people kept hearing about eating peas and thinking it was the plural of pea, a word that didn't exist. It would be like if you heard about glass and thought that referred to having more than one gla. But enough people started referring to a single peas as a pea that pea became the accepted word. This plural confusion is also how we got a cherry, which was originally a cherise. By the way, if you had a cherry allergy, originally you would fneeze until people started misreading the long F as an S, creating sneeze. There are also lots of words that developed because of confusion about a and an before words. Notch was actually och, but so many people misunderstood un-och as a notch that the word changed. Same with newt, which was un-oot, and nickname, which was un-eek-name, eek meaning to lengthen. The opposite process happened as well. Orange was originally naranj, but a naranj got misunderstood as un-orange, which also happened to apron, which started as napron. Plus, the snake we call anadder should actually be anadder, but people apparently got tired of sounding like they had a stutter while trying to communicate what had just poisoned them. In the end, it turns out that little mistakes can have a big impact on the world. Other times, though, big mistakes can have a little impact on the world, and that's how we ended up with my new Nebula original, Sam from Wendover Presents, a very good trivia show presented by Sam from Wendover. All 3 parts are out now, so you can finally discover whether Brian from Real Engineering, Jordan Herod, or Dave from City Beautiful will be the one to take the most of my money. And once you're done, you should also check out CuriosityStream's thousands of top-quality documentaries and nonfiction TV shows, like the fantastic Light of the Earth, narrated by David Attenborough. So make sure to head over to curiositystream.com/HAI and get the bundle deal on sale for less than $1 a month before the price goes back up very soon. And in February, watch out for a brand new Wendover Nebula original.